Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Chido. Hi, how are you? It's nice to meet you. And for all my returning subscribers, first of all, I swear this eyelash is actually really hurting my eye. Please just don't mind. Just let's forget about it. For those of you who are my returning subscribers, hi, how are you? What's good? What's popping? How have you been? I've missed you. You missed me too. I know it's okay, but I'm here now. So today is a very sweet day because we have a guest, a very familiar face. If you watched most of my videos, he's in some of them. And if you haven't, I'll link one above at the top so you can see it. My favorite one, to be precise. But without further ado, let him introduce himself for people who need to be reminded who he is.
Hi guys, it's your boy, some guy. Well, Chido's boy really. But yeah, glad to be back on the channel. It's been a long time. This video has been a long time coming. I'm excited. Yeah. Hey babe, how you doing?
I'm okay. All right, so today's video is okay. Well, let's give you some background information to make it make sense. So Fungai and I currently, unfortunately, in a long distance relationship. Moment of silence. Actually not cool. It's actually really sad, I swear. So we just wanted to come here and talk about just, I don't know, just like long distance relationship challenges and battles and just how to like maneuver past it, especially now that there's COVID. Well, now that there is whatever, you know what I mean, COVID. It's been really, it makes it harder for you to see each other because obviously you can't just pack up and go fly out and whatnot. So you're kind of forced to be more creative in how you interact with each other and yeah, I mean, we just came here to share how we handle situations and what we do about things, even though nobody asked, but we're still gonna give you our opinion because we want to. Like, if you don't want it, then don't take it, but if you do, let me know how it works for you. So yeah.
Well, like, fast forward.
I know, like, you can watch all my other videos, it's okay. So like, I think maybe if you want to talk about like what your greatest challenge has been having a long distance relationship during COVID.
For number one, we start doing YouTube videos like this. But actually, my greatest challenge, from my end, I think it's just the relationship has, you know, the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, mental, financial aspects about it. And I think just not having that physical ability to hold hands, to, you know, be in your presence, for you to be in mind, like, it's one thing to see your smile on camera, then it's a whole different world when I see it in person. And that sucks for me. And, you know, miss giving you hugs. I miss giving hugs. I miss holding your hand. Yeah. You know, like, I miss that presence. I really do.
Yeah, I actually can relate to that. And what makes it worse is sometimes you see all these other couples living together and doing all this stuff together, and you're like, bruh, Lord, when? Like, but like, I think what also makes it worse for me, I think my greatest challenge for like long distance relationship, especially this year, like, well, obviously, especially this year, was when I went into surgery and like, I really wanted Fungai to be there, but he wasn't. And it was like, it was a very difficult journey to go through by yourself and just to experience something, because it's not like it's ever going to happen again. So it's like one of those, bruh, this once in a lifetime thing happened and we had to be on FaceTime with each other the whole time. So it's like kind of the whole idea of just going through life events and you're not together and you can't experience them together and like make those type of memories together, or even like birthdays. You can't even like celebrate birthdays together. You can't celebrate like, you know, promotions or like career milestones or just life milestones together. And it's just like, bruh, sometimes you just really need to be next to your person for it to like mean a lot more, you know, like, so.
I remember like what you're saying, the day of the surgery, June 17th, I remember it clearly, right? And my birthday was, your birthday came first. So I wasn't there for your surgery. July 7th, what am I saying? July 5th, your birthday. No, I'm doing the 7th thing in my head. Sorry. July, guys, I almost forgot a birthday. Yo, like, so July 5th, your birthday came. I couldn't be there for that. But I was there through FaceTime with Zimbabwe network being, you know, when the guys on FaceTime, when he keeps saying poor connection, that was me during our birthday. Then came my birthday, August 17th. Also, just you were not there, you know. It's tough. It's really tough.
So, like, if someone were to ask, after you've said all of that, how do you handle it? Like, how do you compromise or meet in the middle or make it work for you? Like, or for us, rather.
Don't do it, guys. You know, it's a trap. No, I'm joking. How do you make it work? I think we spend a lot of time on the phone together, right? So our FaceTime calls like this, or this is your video or recording, but like we spend a lot of time on the phone, you know, either while I'm working, she's cooking, the phone, the FaceTime is on, we're both on mute. I think also being very involved in each other's days, like what are you doing today? I'm doing this. We talk a lot. I think that makes it, I think it makes it easier. The lack of presence is not missed, because it's kind of like, oh, babe, remember I told you I wanted to cook this today, so I then did it, and I sent you a picture of it, and you kind of, it's like your person is there but not there, right? So like, I appreciate that, you know, waking up or going to bed together is another important thing that always helps. And your recent favorite is the weekly weekend movie nights that we have, where you like.
You guys should try Netflix Party. If you haven't heard about Netflix Party, you should really try it out. We'll link it in the bio below.
Yeah, like, so Netflix Party is just like a widget, whatever, web browser extension that lets you watch the same Netflix show with people you know, and then there's a little sidebar where you can chat while you watch it. So it's like on the right, you can be watching it. When you pause, it pauses for everyone watching it. So like, that's also fun. That's pretty fun. So that makes I love that. And if you don't have Netflix Party or don't even have Netflix, sometimes what Chido and I do is we literally go like, where are you in the movie? Show me. And then you flip the camera. It's like, go on 3 seconds. Press play in 3, 2, 1, and we both press play. That is a vibe. Like, so, and that's how we watch the movie together. It gets sticky when either your browser starts buffering, you know, Zimbabwe network.
Brad, leave me out of this, okay? It's not every day Zimbabwe network is the problem. But yeah, communication and just kind of like doing things together, literally like everything. Like, not necessarily everything, but like always making sure the other person is involved so that it doesn't feel so distant. Like, I feel like if you talk to someone most of the time during your day or whatever, you can really like strengthen the bond that you have and just feel like, okay, so granted we're not sitting in the same room, but if we're talking to each other every single day, it helps. It really makes a difference. Like, I personally think that like things that have helped me cope and just feel like, okay, it's not that bad, is definitely the communication. And like also just like, we literally can sleep on the phone together, like whether it's like me sleeping during my hours or it's him sleeping during his hours and I'm awake or whatever. Or like sometimes I would sacrifice my sleep and like stay up most of the night so we spend time together, and that happens a lot during like weekends and whatnot, so we can actually like chill more. There was a time we tried working out together.
But I thought it worked inside it though.
It did, but like we stopped. So, and we only stopped because some people feel like I am not at their caliber of like fitness, so they don't think I'm worthy to work out with them right now. But you can also like cook together, have like cooking dates where you like, he'll be cooking and I'll be cooking at the same time. And then there's like normal date nights where you order food and then you sit and you start eating and talking at the same time and stuff like that. Like just like finding other things, like doing the exact same thing that you do when you're in the same place, but just doing it over the phone. Like, it's not that like, because that's really all you have in that moment, to be honest. If someone asked you, how do you guys deal with your fights? Like,
I'll tell you this. You know, there are certain fights that I believe put together. You can read someone's body language just by being in their presence. You can easily tell that, you know, if you and I feel like for certain arguments that we're in each other's space, I could tell that you're genuinely sorry, or you could tell I'm genuinely sorry just by my body language, and that'll die there, right? But because that thing is because you're not together, you're not able to talk in person all of the time. But I think that's something we're both still learning. I think everyone in any relationship, the one thing you need to learn is to navigate conflict, right? And for us, I think an important part is getting our feelings out. I think like one thing I've learned is, you know, the way I want to resolve something is different from the way that you would like to resolve it. And it's always important to make sure that, because for example, if you're fighting, it's not so easy to be on a FaceTime call together.
yeah.
When you want to talk to someone,
it's awkward. It becomes completely awkward. And like I feel like sometimes because you're not in each other's spaces and you're not like in the same space, it's actually very important to deal with it before it gets out of hand, because you can easily find yourselves ignoring each other, and just because you're just like, bruh, you know what, I don't really feel like it. You put it down and you're like, no, not today, right? And today turns into tomorrow, it turns into the next day, it turns into 1 week, and you're just like, okay, what just happened? And like personally, I sometimes really suck at like handling conflict and just like arguments, and just I can't. So usually sometimes Fungai will be the one to call and be like, okay, we need to talk. And like at first it used to be something that was extremely uncomfortable for me, but like I'm getting much better at it, because it's like if you don't talk about it and sort it out sooner, it's gonna have more damage and repercussions later. So like you need to be in a position where you're like, okay, I need to be like able to become and like to put myself in a very uncomfortable space so that I feel comfortable. I don't know if that makes sense. Because if you keep doing things the way you want done and like doing things the way you're used to, it's just gonna make the other person feel like, bruh, why am I even trying? Because already long distance has its own challenges. So you don't need to be adding on top of that by just being selfish and unnecessary.
Yeah, that's true. I think that you've said it the best. Knowing who you are and how you handle conflict. Like what you said, I remember the times when we were fighting and I'm like, I call you on video and you want to answer on video, but it's like, don't turn on the video. We need to talk.
And also recently, I've actually decided, like I'm always like, okay, if we were in the same house, would I be acting like this? And then I'm like, no. And then that's when I'm like, okay, bruh, pull yourself together. Because, yeah, I
think dealing with, it's called like, recently, like literally like a day ago, I've now, in my mind, I don't think of them as fights anymore. I call them exploratory conversations, you know, for the truth. We're just exploring for the truth now playing. But like, I like the fact that when you fight in a long distance relationship, it's important to deal with the problem that day, because it's like leaving the stove on with something that's cooking, and then you forget to turn it off and you go to sleep. You're gonna wake up and it's gonna be burnt the next morning. And if you don't deal with it the next day, it'll keep burning and getting worse and worse and worse. So it's better to deal with it there and then. And let's talk about like texting and calling, right? So like, you know, like she's a writer. She loves to text. I like to talk on the phone and call. And when you're upset, everyone has a tendency to go to the default, what you want, right? Because you're like, it's me. You're trying to defend yourself or whatever. So it's always important also to realize between the two of you where you meet. Like, are we going to text this conversation? Are we going to call through it? Are we going to do both? Because if you don't do that, someone will fail to express themselves in that. Yeah, so it's always good to meet halfway.
What if someone asked you, how can I be more romantic in a long distance relationship? This one is for you because you're like, I mean, but girls can also be romantic, but like, it's for you.
All right. So for the guys, I will say this. The way to be more romantic is to, there are a lot of things you can do, right? So one thing that you have because you're not there, that is in your pocket, you can use all the time, is the element of surprise, right? So what do I mean? You can always surprise your partner. You can buy food and have it delivered to her place or whatever, whether it's randomly, right? So like, you don't need to say anything. And it's always important to be attentive. If you want to be more romantic, it's important to listen. Listen to your person talk. What you get? And this. I'm craving this. I'm craving that. And eventually, like, okay, a couple of days ago, she talked about craving pizza. Then you just order pizza on Munch or something, or DoorDash, whichever app that's there. The food center. If you've got family and friends that can help you do stuff, right? So it doesn't have to all be financial. It doesn't have to be big, but it's the surprise your partner with gifts. Like, you have something sent to a house. Who does the thing? I'm telling you guys, if a girl is mad, just buy her food. She'll be fine. But that attitude is because she's hungry. But like, yeah. Another thing, I think that like that date night. Also pick movies that get you in the vibe and you can laugh and talk about it a lot. What else? How can you be more romantic as a guy? Yeah, I think the gifts is a good thing. Yeah, and have your people, your family or your friends to also be like getting on it to help you, because if your family is also getting to know each other like that, it feels very more genuine and more connected.
So, as weird as it may be, what are you grateful for from being in a long distance relationship? Because yeah, there's like all these downsides, but what are the perks?
I suppose the fact that we spend a lot more time getting to know each other, right? And I think this year, particularly because of COVID and whatever, a lot of people have been working from home, staying at home a lot more. You get to see your person for what they and who they truly are through a date. Like, really get to understand and see. When you're dating, and maybe because you're together, you can put up an act whenever the person is around or whatever. And it's only for when they're around, because it's like, I'm gonna hang out with my girl for 2-3 hours and I'll go back to my house. I can text her maybe 3-4 hours after that. But because in a long distance relationship, we get and we spend a lot of time talking and getting to understand each other. You start seeing what this person. Someone says, for example, you start dating. Oh, I love to read books, right? Then when you start dating, and you can never really check if that person you can sit down and read with them unless you guys do a thing where you actually read books together. But you should start to see what that person does. Is that what they actually do? Do they actually read books? Do they actually work out? And you get to talk more, right? So usually when you're together, everything is clouded because you're together. You're always hugging, doing all of these couple things. There's no time for there's not enough time to actually focus on the stuff of life, right? But because you don't have those moments, it's kind of like going blind, right? Or people who've gone for eye surgery. Like, your little sister told me, gosh, like, once when she had a surgery, and her eyes were wrapped up, everything else, every other sense heightens, your taste, your sound, your feeling of touch, right? And that's the same thing with the relationship. It's like, once you take out something, your other senses of the relationship heighten. And that's like, for example, you get to know your person more. A lot more.
Yeah, I actually agree with that one completely. Like, and also, it's still like being in a long distance relationship, you get the perks of like being in a relationship, but then you can still kind of maintain your independence a lot more. In the sense that sometimes people in relationships, when they're permanently together, they become so consumed in each other and they don't have enough time anymore for their friends, their family, and other aspects of their life. But when you're in a long distance relationship, you can still have that relationship, but also still be able to do all the other things that you love to do on your own. And I think for the duration of that long distance relationship, if you've always been a person who becomes consumed by the relationship, you'll learn to like be your own person, but still love your partner like the way they deserve to be loved. So like it's kind of like enforces a lot of like self-love and inner discovery of yourself while you're with someone. So like it does come with like its benefits. And also like I feel like if you're like a spiritual person, and if you're spiritual people, like it puts you in a place where you really realize just how much you need God and to lean on him and to pray a lot, because like already the devil doesn't like relationships and love and anything to do with people coming together as one. So like that's why I sometimes feel like it's like people have this like stigma of long distance relationships, and they're like, no, they don't work, because it's easier to always attack them, because you don't have that physical aspect, like he can use that to kind of cause destruction. So like if you pray a lot, you actually protect yourselves and guard yourselves a lot more. And also in praying a lot for your relationship and whatnot, you end up becoming a much more spiritually in tuned person. And the closer you guys are to God together, you realize that, okay, is this really for me or it's not for me? Like, or even just as individuals, like, so you discover a lot more about yourself when you're in a long distance relationship. I personally would like to believe.
So if a young lady came to you, or an older one, and says, hey, listen, I met this guy, I really like him, he likes me, and chances are we're going to be together, it's going to be long distance. How long should we do this thing? And, or you know what should I think about before I get into this long distance relationship?
If he wants to, he will. Always, forever, and always remind yourself that statement, sis. If he wants to, he will. Like, I've realized, not just even from this situation, but just in life and in general, like, people are not confused, and they're always very upfront with intentions. It's just that we sometimes are not ready to accept it, or you don't want to accept it or really pay attention to the truth. So if you're in like a long distance situation, whether it's like you met and then the person goes, or you met online and you're apart and whatnot, if this person says to you, I can't do long distance, it's not for me, it's really difficult, whatnot, I have to be with you first for me to decide if I want to be with you like long term, or I don't know, gives you some funny excuses like, yeah, we can be together, but I will just still play the field until you get here or whatnot, or etc. I don't know, whatever excuses niggas can give these days. A person who wants to be with you will be with you regardless of the circumstances. You know, like sometimes we like to overcomplicate things and make it seem as if, no, but it's like really hard, it's really this and that. But like, I would like to believe that like everybody has their priorities straight in their head. And if you really care about someone and you want to be with them and they're a priority to you, nothing will stop you. Not some country's borders, not some Atlantic Ocean or what have you. Like, you make it work. I've heard of stories where people have been in long distance relationship for years, and then literally they have their families meet up, they pay lobola, they get married, and then they spend time together. Like, then they go and meet up. I've heard stories where people have been like apart from like each other, and then they make a plan to just kind of make things work, and they stay together for a very long time. Like, the difference between someone who wants to be with you and someone who doesn't, someone who wants to be with you will never have excuses. They'll probably come to you with solutions. So if a man comes with excuses and whatnot,
yeah,
count your losses and just keep it moving, sis. Like,
hey, that was bars. Ladies, you heard it here first. This would be a real friend. It needs to happen.
All right, there you have it, folks. It's about boundaries, respect, trust, communication, and we forgot one other important one, which was patience. You need to be patient with each other, patient with yourself, because, you know, we're all growing. Growth is a process, and if you're not patient with yourself, you're going to be very frustrated. If you're not patient with your partner, you're also going to be very frustrated, because you always find yourself in a place where you're constantly trying to get them to change something, and it doesn't happen overnight, and that's going to piss you off. So you need to be patient with them. Most importantly, always remember that the only person you can really change in life is yourself. Change starts from within. So if you need something changed, do it yourself, and then maybe your partner will follow suit, or you'll just be happier without having to complain or moan about a certain thing that was happening. That's it from me personally. Like, that's really my summary of things. Long distance is not that bad. I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think it's something that, like, people always say, if you're in a long distance relationship, then the four of you will be happy together. No, you can be happy just the two of you, because, like, if there's love and if there's commitment and honesty and trust, you'll survive. I don't know. Do you have anything you want to add onto that?
Yeah, trust, commitment, honesty, patience, love, those nice words we all hear about. But it is hard work.
So that's all, folks. That was so wack. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And this was fun. Love you like a love song. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Peace.